All right, welcome back. Um, Now, in perfect competition, there are no barriers to entry in the market. And in monopolies, which is a company with no competition, there are very high barriers to entry into the market. Since perfect competition is good and monopolies are bad, you can kind of figure out that barriers are generally a bad thing. However, there are a few good barriers. So let's go over just some examples of bad barriers and good barriers. First, bad barriers, things like stiff competition. This is when companies drive other companies out of business on purpose, not because they have a better product, just because they bully them out of the market. High startup costs, government granted monopolies, such as utilities like electric, water, gas, and ownership of scarce resources. So if I own the only gold mine in the whole world, then the only place anybody can get gold is from me. If you ever need gold, I have it. You can't go anywhere else. I can charge whatever I want. Now, good barriers are like copyright laws or patents. This protects like a unique piece of work. And so if somebody writes a book or a piece of poetry, I can't just knock them over the head, steal it, and go publish it and make a bunch of money. Okay? They take it. They have to go to the government and say, "Hey, I wrote this, or I invented this machine. This is my work. Nobody else can copy it." Now let's review market structures we've discussed so far. Monopolies and perfect competition are essentially polar opposites. We're going to talk about monopolistic competition and oligopolies in a second, but they're a little more wishy-washy. They're not on like a polar end. So let's just review what we've gone over so far. In perfect competition, there are many sellers. All the products are exactly the same. There's no barrier to entry into the market. Anybody can just start up their own company, and there are no price controls. Examples are crops, eBay, stocks. Monopolies, on the other hand, there's only one seller. There's only one place you can get this from. There are no good substitutes for the product that they're selling. You can't switch and go. It's McDonald's with no Burger King. It's extremely hard to enter the market. It's next to impossible. Like the barriers are extremely high. They have all the control over price. They can charge whatever they want. Examples: water, electric, utilities, etc. We'll come back and as we finish up, we'll discuss monopolistic competition and oligopolies. Now we're going to move on to monopolistic competition and oligopolies. Oligopolies are more similar to monopolies, okay, than perfect competition, while monopolistic competition is more similar to perfect competition than monopolies, which hopefully that'll make more sense in a second. Monopolistic competition is still competition, still has the word competition in it, which we know is a good thing. So let's talk about the characteristics of monopolistic competition. One, there are many buyers and sellers, okay? Just like perfect competition, a lot of people are buying stuff and a lot of people are selling stuff. Firms produce only slightly different products. And finally, there's easy entry and easy exit to the market. Examples are like fast food. Like McDonald's is a monopoly. McDonald's is the only place you can go to get McDonald's. But if you don't want McDonald's, you can go to Burger King or Taco Bell or somewhere else. Now, oligopolies also have three characteristics. Like I said, a little more similar to monopolies. First, there are few sellers, whereas monopoly only has one. Oligopolies have a couple. They sell almost identical products, or pretty close. there are significant barriers to entry into the market. Not just anybody can come in and compete. So a really good example, like oil companies or gas companies that sell gasoline for cars. You have like Shell or BP. They both sell gas. Either want to work in your car, but they're different companies. One other type of market structure you need to be aware of are cartels. Cartels are similar to trusts, except where trusts are like kind of open about it. They have this public agreement where they're working together. Cartels are kind of shady about it, and they kind of try to trick people by like, well, we're not really working together, but we are, and so they work together to to fix the price on whatever product they're selling. So if Shell and BP started working together and started trying to raise the price of gasoline so that they can make a higher profit, that would be a cartel. Now, it's illegal to do price fixing between businesses to get together and to demand a higher product for, or a higher price for their products. So let's review the last two market structures that we just went over. Like I said, we already discussed perfect competition and monopolies. And perfect competition is more like monopolistic competition. Monopolies are more like oligopolies. So in monopolistic competition, there are many sellers. They have a similar product that's slightly different, but there are no really there are close substitutes, but each product is unique. There are no barriers to entry, and they have very little price control because of the competition aspect. Examples, fast food is probably the best one I can come up with, is between McDonald's and Burger King. Oligopolies, like I said, is more similar to monopolies. There are a few sellers instead of just one. They have the same or a slightly different product. It's very hard to enter. It's not as hard as a monopoly, but there are significant barriers to entry into the market. They have a little bit of price control, but not a ton. And the example I came up with was oil companies like Shell and BP.